Hello and welcome back to the Ellis Clark Trains YouTube channel. Today we're going to do a video on the Clark Railworks Quad Art coaches, and we're going to cover about 5 or 6 different items, covering the detail pack, removing the buffers on one end to allow the retracted buffers to be fitted, and also we're going to cover EM and P4 modelers on how to remove the wheels and put replacement wheel sets in. So first of all, the first item we're going to cover is the quad itself, and we're just going to do a very easy one for anybody. It's just the roof removal. On the roof removal, it's as easy as on each end there's 2 little locating tabs. All you need to do, you could just get your nail in there and it'll just flop up. There you go, you probably saw it pop up then straight away. So I'll just do that again. Just on the edge of the wall and where the roof goes like so, if you just put your nail in that area, it will pop up. There you go. And just to show you that it does do it on any of them, it isn't one I've prepared or anything like that. We'll just get another one out of the box. In you go with the nail and it will just pop up like so. You could, if you want, but I really don't want to say it, you could put just a little scalpel blade in just to do that with it if you wanted to. Or another one you could use if you've not got any nails or anything like that. I mean, I've not got the biggest of nails, but it does work. You could use a piece of something like 20,000 plasticard just to push in like a trim removal, and it just flicks up like that. So that's the first one. We'll take the roof off completely just to show you inside on this one. You probably see there, you can get inside now if I use a pair of tweezers to put some figures in, etc. Should you want to. You've got your circuit board on the top, 2 wires coming in from your pickups, and you can wiggle that out if you need to get anything, any figures, etc. in them. Right, the next item we're going to cover is the detail pack. That I'm covering that and calling it all gauges. By that I'm meaning 00, EM and P4. So the items that we get with the detail pack are 2 end blanking plates for the Bogie frames. These can only be used when you're using screw couplings and you're removing the NEM coupling sockets, which I'm going to come on later. So if you're using tension lock couplings like these with an NEM pocket, you cannot fit those parts. They're only for somebody that's using screw couplings of their own choice later on. Next item is a drawbar, and the drawbar itself is used when you're fitting 2 quads together to make an 8-coach train. In real life, they didn't use a coupling, screw coupling, they used literally a metal bar between them to stop movement. I'll come on to that one in a moment. You've then got 4 items that make up a set of buffers. It says, just dropping a little piece on the floor. The buffers were changed on the quads when they were running in rakes of 8. So these buffers on the end would be removed and there would be a set of retracted buffers fitting. Come on to those in a moment. You've got 2 NEM drawbars, which are just plastic drawbars that allow you to have a rake permanently coupled together. And then you've got 2 steam heat pipes there and there. So that's your detail pack. The other item that does come in your detail pack, you have a load of sprues of brake gear. These are for EM and P4 modelers only. If you're in 00, you don't need to worry about them, the surplus to requirements. I will come back onto those later in the video, but at the moment I'm just going to put them to one side to not complicate the issues. So first things we're going to do is we're going to fit the NEM coupling drawbar. If we turn the coach upside down, we've got the NEM coupling there. All we do is just physically grab hold of it and pull it out and away. Next thing we do is fit the same coupling style into there on the drawbar. It clips in. We'd get a second coach. Same again, coupling removed. Fit them together. and in it goes. That then is a permanently coupled 2 rakes of 4, i.e. 8 coaches quad art. The next part we're going to cover is the retractable buffers. On the retractable buffers, we're going to need a little bit of super glue. The first thing we need to do is, the buffer themselves are not sprung. They wouldn't be in real life. They're retracted. So I'm just going to put a tiny, tiny little bit of super glue down the hole, because these are on your detail parts to fit together. And we just get the buffer head and we just push him down the hole like so. Let that super glue go off, and we'll do the other side whilst that's going off. So once again, little hole on one end, little bit of super glue down the hole, push the buffer in. They're retracted buffers. Next thing we're going to do, I'll turn it round. If you grab hold of the sprung buffer here, give it a little wiggle, it will pull out like so. Little wiggle and it will pull out. They're a bit of a tight fit, but they will come out. There we go. So they're not fitted on both ends. The end that the locomotive's going onto will have standard buffers. The end that's going against another quad art set will have these fitted. That's why you only get a pair in the detail pack, not 2 pairs, because your other pair would be in the next quad art set that you get. All you physically do is just have a quick look at them, pop them in, find the hole in the end of the buffer, fit them like so, and they're in. They're quite a tight fit. It's up to you as a customer whether you would like to have them glued or not. That's totally up to yourself. Whether you glue them, if you want to glue them, you can. Just a tiny, tiny little bit of super glue on. I'm not going to put loads on and flood them. And just always remember, use something to put it on with, like a cocktail stick or the end of a screwdriver, and don't pour the super glue on the model and ruin your model. They just go like so, and that's those items fitted. Last little thing I'm just going to show is if you're not going to use the NEM couplings between 2 rakes of coaches and you'd like to use the metal drawbar here, this is made out of a piece of brass, chemically blackened brass. All we basically do is you get 2 coaches from your 2 rakes, 2 end coaches, and on the hook it between them, and it's as easy as that. That is then coupled correctly. Obviously on the other set you would remove these 2 buffers and put buffer retract ones on, and then you've got 2 fitted completely. Next fit we're going to fit is the air pipes. Now I must stress that fitting of the air stroke steam heat pipes, I said air pipes, I should have said steam heat pipes, they can only be done if you are not using NEM couplings, and they're only fitted at each end of a rake of 4 coaches. They're not fitted in between. All we physically do is just, there is a flat surface here. That flat surface, if we just put a little bit of super glue on them like so, fit them in place underneath like that, let your super glue go off, and that's it. It's as easy as that. However, they will get in the way of your NEM coupling, so you need to decide whether or not it's worth fitting them because of that reason. The last item we're going to cover in the detail pack is this little item here, which is a bit like a sort of a semicircle, like a D shape. It goes into the end of the bogie on each end of a quad, and it replicates, if you could see here, the end of the bogie, but you do have to take the NEM pocket out, and once that's out, it's I wouldn't say it's out for good, but it's more or less out for good, you're then going to have to put it back in. So this is only something that I would stress to do if you're using screw couplings, or you're possibly going to EMP4 or very fine 00 fine scale standards. It's probably not something that you'd want to do every day. So we're now going to move on to how we deal with that item. So if we look at the Bogie, there's two pickups at either side, and there's two small little Phillips screws here and here. First job we need to do is remove those Phillips screws with a tiny little Phillips screwdriver. They are only very tiny, very, very tiny little screws. Once we've done that on either side, the next job is to then just wiggle the pickup up slightly. You see it's now loose. We then need a soldering iron, and we need to go in and remove the pickup like so. Put the soldering iron to one side. Next job, the Bogie privet screw in the middle. Remove that like so. Put that to one side. We then carefully pull the Bogie out. We've got two wires there and there. Move the Bogie to one side. You'll then notice there's two more screws here and here for a plate. These are all on the instructions in the Quad Art booklet. So we remove those two. And that one there. We then can remove that plate like that. Then the NEM coupling socket comes off and stays off like so. Last job is then to get this item here, and it fits in like so. And that then gives you the full Bogie detail. The reason I'm saying this is probably for good is it's probably wise to glue that in as well at the same time, because they are designed to stay in as an item. So it is probably only something you're going to do if you fit in screw couplings for good. So it goes in like so. I would just put a little couple of blobs of super glue just to hold it in place like that. The next job is a refit in reverse order. I'm not going to keep this on this one. The reason for that is it's a display model. It is going to go out to shows, etc. So I would like to fit it back. So reverse fitting is base plate first. Okay. In this instance, I'm going to put this back in just in case anybody wants to know how to do it. There's a little circle on the end of that spring. It fits onto the little clip there, over the wiring, and clicks in underneath there. Plate back on. There's two holes for the wires to come through. Joys of a magnetic screwdriver. Like so. Just position our wires in the correct position. Don't do what I've just done there. I have just trapped that wire ever so slightly. So we'll just remove that screw a little bit. There we go. And pull it through into its space. There we are. You look there underneath, you see you've got two holes for the wires to come through, making sure that the radius piece is towards the front. Just going to pull the wires through. There we are. The wires have popped through now. If you're struggling getting them through, you could use a pair of tweezers just to make sure. The other thing I would say on this is just make sure you've not got any big lumps of solder on the end of the wires that are going to stop them coming through the holes. So we like that now. If we now get the pickup itself, pop it into place. I'll do this side one first so it's slightly easier for you to see. Push the wire down a little bit, bending back over. And the first thing we'll do is get the pickup in place. The tiny little screw will pop in back in first to hold the pickup in place. There we go. Just make sure the pickup is correct against the wheel, and we'll just get a soldering iron on that. That's that one done. Lovely. That's that one done. Started. Just move the pickup over slightly. And last but not least is the main centre screw that just fastens on. Don't over tighten it, but it has got a collar on it, so you can't over tighten it and knit the bogie up. And that's everything back together. Last little job is just to make sure you've not bent your pickups out of place too much by taking them off. And that's that done. As I stressed before, this is only to fit that detail part. Once it's fitted, you will glue it on and you will lose your any end pockets. So it's one of those jobs that you're only going to do if you're going to fit screw couplings to the end. And that's that little bit done. If you are also not wanting to do that but are never going to use any end couplings again, you could actually, sounds a little bit awful, you could just shear that off there with a set of zero-ons. But that is, once it's done forever. This is just to make those prototypical. Next job we're going to do is fitting EM wheel sets. P4 is identical, so this bit of the video is just for EM and P4 modelers. First things we're going to do, get us wheel sets. The wheel sets, same as our Lomax, are designed to go straight away with Allen Gibson wheel sets, straight into our bearings with no alterations. First thing we need to do is just grab hold of the brake gear, give it a bit of a wiggle, and remove the brake gear. Just going to just bend out of the way the pickups. Remove the brake gear, getting another set of brake gear from your detail pack. As you can see, it's slightly wider. Just get a scalpel, cut it off its sprue, like so. Removing of the wheel set, I find it's easier, it's quite tight, is to just pull with your thumb nail and your fingernail and just pull it out and wiggle her out. She will come, but they are a little bit on the tight side. There we go. That's one out. So on the other side, I'll get a pair of tweezers. First one, remove the pickup slightly to one side. Get your tweezers in and pull them up, wiggle them up. They're just in little square pockets of the brake shoes. They just slide into a little square pocket. Same on this side. Wiggle her up. There you go. There we go. There we go. Just pull it out. Same on the other side. It will come out, but they are a little bit on the tight side. There we are. So wheel set out. As normal, just check us back to backs that we're happy with everything. I'm putting an EM wheel set into this one. In she goes. There we are. And as you can see, straight away, she's free to rotate. I know there was a review of the Lomac in the P4 newsletter, and he said they just drop straight in on the Lomac. Well, same rules apply on this. There we go. That's the wheel set in. Same again, as you can see, it's happily free rotating. Next little job is just to readjust your pickups, because obviously we've pulled the bogie apart a little bit. Readjust those till you're happy with them. Next job then is to put the EM gauge brake gearing. All we physically do, if you look down inside here, you will see there's a second set of holes, or squares should I say, for the EM/P4 ones. Underneath, they go underneath your pickups, like so. And we'll just move that one out of the way slightly for a second. You might want to put, obviously, a little bit of your chosen super glue on them. Into the holes they go, and then that's them in. So just put a little bit of super glue down into that corner, let it go off just to hold them, and your wheel set is then in place. We'll adjust the pickup back over like so. Let the super glue go off. Pull that down a little bit too far. There we go, that's better. And your wheel sets are then done. Redo on each individual one on your full set of 4. And that is really everything on the quads. Okay, so that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching. We have plenty more videos to come, so please keep checking our YouTube channel. And last of all, before you go, please don't forget to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch up with you next time. Cheers.